Well, I'm proud of my team last night for persevering on a night when obviously it wasn't our best. And you have to give your opponent credit. And Stephanie and her staff did a great job getting those kids ready to play for Vanderbilt. And I thought they were really good. And we started off well, and then had a horrible second quarter offensively. And then, we just really were challenged. And proud of these two watching the film. They like that fourth quarter now playing that zone. They were pretty active and handsy and got some steals in it. Maya did a great job of sealing the elbow and got a couple of steals, got her hands on some drives, and I think we forced 8 turnovers in the matchup. So, Aaliyah, I thought, really took over in the fourth quarter, and Zaria, and got us some good looks and finished at the rim. And of course, Jessica she was just a warrior all night and did a great job on Fasula. I mean, y'all saw that kid get 29 on our All-American last year, and I was very concerned going in. And going back and looking at the film, boy, Jess really worked her rear end off defending her, and actually got stuck pretty hard one time on a drop step with an elbow that wasn't called, and she held her ground. So proud of her, and it happens sometimes. It's tough in ball games, and last night was a tough game on the road in the SEC. You get a chance to play in those. Hopefully you grow and get better. So.
Any questions for the players? We'll start with Ben.
Players first?
Yeah.
Ali, obviously it's been a nice stretch for you the last couple of games. I guess what's that been like for you, and sort of stepping into that role and finding your foot in the last couple of games and seeing some shots go through?
It's just been something that I've been waiting on. We have a really good team, and everybody that comes off the bench always bring a good energy. But last night we needed more buckets. We needed more buckets, more stops. And I know that defense is where I sometimes struggle with. So my focus was to go in and try to help get as many steals, and then once I get the ball, just go ahead and give it to Maya. And then the offense kind of just came to me. I was playing good defense, and everything was just kind of in rhythm.
We'll go over to Danny Peace.
I play Ole Miss on Sunday. You've been around this rivalry a couple of years now. Just what can you say to the younger players about what's to come and what to expect from the Ole Miss game?
Right. Just emphasize this game means a lot to our fan base and a lot of people that come to the games. But for them to not get rattled, just to treat it like every other game. We're going to prepare the same and just treat it like another game that's in front of us. So, but this game means a lot to a lot of people. But just take the challenge and just be poised, and it's just another game.
You mentioned the defensive side of things and kind of learning that side of the ball, I guess, a little bit more in Coach Schaefer's system. What has that been like for you, at least sort of adjusting to that in the college game and the speed of it? Whereas, I guess as a high schooler, obviously the offensive side comes a little easier.
Yeah, in high school it was kind of, I was always the fastest person on the floor. My anticipation was always dead on. So coming to college, and I'd say that everybody was really fast, and I think my speed had to pick up a little bit. But once I started to be able to keep up and run with my teammates and run with the girls that had been here and just play with the practice guys that we have, they're fast. So playing against them, learning not to slide when somebody is dribbling past you, you got to turn and run. And focusing on that's just what I did. I just try to focus on turn and run. And I know that once I get my defense going, the offense is just another part of my game. So.
Maya, this is your third year in Coach Schaefer's system. Just how surprised are you to see him go to that zone a little bit the last couple of games?
Very surprised to actually go to it in the game. We actually practice on it a lot, and the players love it. We love it, and so we're kind of like, we're going to zone. So for some reason, our energy just kicked up, and we were just talking, and we were just very successful in the second half. So great call.
Anything else for the players? We'll dismiss them up and get ready for practice.
Thank you.
Start with Ben.
on the zone question, but obviously we know your preference for a man-to-man, but what went into the decision to switch there, and I guess how comfortable are you sort of keeping that in your back pocket going forward?
Sure. I mean, I've always had it in my back pocket. Some are better than others. You know, the thing about it, y'all, we can sit here and think it was the next best thing since sliced bread last night, and it was, but man, Sunday it could be the worst decision you make. And it's just a part of the game. Y'all know, you know, we take a lot of pride defensively around here, and I think we forced them into 26 turnovers last night and held them to 32% shooting, but just put them on the line so much in the first half. It was awful. And but you know, we've worked on it a little bit, and you know, I've told y'all I'm always evaluating our program, evaluating myself, evaluating our team, and you know, we're a pretty long athletic team, quickness wise, and you can probably cover a lot of ground in a really active zone. What you don't want is kids standing around, and I thought Maya and Aaliyah were not standing around. And I thought Jessica was good. She was good on that back line, seeing things and getting the next matchup. Zaria was good, and Chloe was the fifth one. So, you know, those kids did a good job, and that's why I didn't make any substitutions. Plus, we were getting some really good offense from Aaliyah and Zaria on the other end, and Jessica was cleaning up our messes. So, proud of those kids for finishing the game. That's probably the most unassuming group you would think would be in a game where you're down 4 going into the fourth quarter, but those kids did a great job. I'm proud of them, and again, gives you confidence going in to the next game and the next game about who's been in that moment and who can function in that moment. And that's what we're trying to find out. I think you saw last night we had some kids play really well on Monday, but the consistency piece is what's missing. And so on Thursday, nowhere to be found. And that's the part of being young. And, you know, you guys, y'all have to know, you have some success, you play well on the national stage, everybody's patting you on the back. Well, like I told them, hey, you played just good enough to get beat by 2 on the road to the number 1 team in the country. That's it. But you got everybody telling you you're the next best thing since sliced bread. You know, if you drink the punch, that's what you get. I think some of them probably drank the Kool-Aid, and we didn't play well last night. But, you know, that falls on me too. I've got to get my team ready to play. That's my job, and we obviously weren't ready to play last night. And we finally found y'all think about it, how many combinations, substitutions did I make last night? I played everybody on the bench until I finally got the right combination. I mean, I had a bunch of different combinations out there in game 20. And I think that's a good thing, and it's also a problem, because you would think by 20 you would have a pretty good set rotation. I think we have one somewhat, but I was searching last night a lot, and it was just hard to find that perfect group until the fourth quarter. Now, maybe playing the matchup, somebody else could have come in there and had the same results. I don't know, but Zaria got out in transition. Aaliyah was good off the bounce. Jessica was really good inside. Maya ran my team. So, you know, it was a good thing for us to go through that and come out on top.
Logan?
You talked about how young this team is this year and how immature they are at times. Are you starting to see them grow up a little bit in conference play, maybe even over the last 4 or 5 days?
Oh, boy. I mean, we just have our moments. I think that's the best way to answer that. We certainly have glimmers of hope, but then we have 3 quarters of setback last night, you know. You know, it's just it's hard when you're young. This is a team game, and you know, the success of the team is paramount and what's important. And at the same time, you can't be satisfied, and you can't put yourself where you think you are or slot yourself. You got to continue to work, get better, and work on your game. And I think it's hard in late January when the coach maybe has a rotation and you don't think you are, or you think you are, and you get comfortable being in the rotation, and the next thing you know, you're not playing well, and now you got to play your way back in. I mean, it's hard for a young 18, 19-year-old to do that. And so, you know, for us, I just keep encouraging our kids, hey, let's get better today. That'll be our goal today. Let's get better. Let's be better on Saturday. Let's be better on Sunday. That's all we can do. And, you have a game like Monday and you think, hey, maybe we're getting better. And you have a game like last night and you think, man, we're lethargic, we're flat, we're a step slow. And I gave them Tuesday off, y'all. I felt like we might have needed a day just to kind of regroup and refocus. And we shot a little bit with them, but watched a little film, but not much. I mean, it was a pretty laid back day. And I've never done that before. Probably not going to do it again.
Go Danny P. and then Brian.
Coach, I asked you about Jessica on Monday and whether she was ready to accept the challenge of Vanderbilt Center. And she answered my own question. She looked pretty good.
Boy, she did, Danny. I was proud of her. She put in a full night's work, got in a little foul trouble early. I think that affected us in the first half, no question. She got off to such a great start. We got her freed up on some out-of-bounds plays and some zone offense, and she got in foul trouble, and that certainly affected us. But she obviously affected us in the second half in a very positive way. And just a great kid. Just happy most days, smiling, and you're happy for her because this league will humble you, and any night it can humble you. And for her, she's not going against anybody usually that's not as big or bigger than her on most nights. And again, I'm telling you, Sula, as y'all saw last year, had 29 on Big T and just destroyed us. And we knew going in she was going to be a key factor for us. And I thought we did a good job on her, and I thought she did a great job on her and was really active and really forced a lot of turnovers from their guards trying to throw it to her because Jess was in such great position to defend her. So that's what I hope I take from the game with her, is that she saw how she can defend a little bit and how hard that she had to work to defend. So excited for her, though. Great kid and works really hard.
How difficult is it as a coach sometimes to get away from what somebody might call your bread and butter and just make that big decision that what we're doing is not working, I have to change something?
Hey, I want to win. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to win, and it's really not. It's not that hard at the same. It's not like, oh my gosh, you got to humble yourself and go to zone. That's not it. I mean, Cheryl Swoops was an All-American for Texas Tech back in '93 playing 2-3 zone. She played the backside of that thing, and she led the country in steals, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously went on and had a great career in the pros. But so there's no shame in it at all. Joe Champy is a Hall of Fame coach at Auburn, and he made a career playing the matchup. And I've got his clinic notes and try to instill some of that stuff with what we do. I had to go against him when I was at Arkansas, so I got to see it firsthand. And I incorporate some of the same stuff he does or did back then at Auburn with his great teams. I mean, he played in the Final Four numerous years, and I try and incorporate some. So I've studied. I mean, it's not like I just said, hey, y'all stand here, you stand here, you stand here, you stand here. We try to have a purpose with what we do, and so it's not that hard. I think for me, we live so much off transition and running and getting out in transition that sometimes you worry if you're in the matchup, are you going to get the steals and the turnovers that you want? Well, we got 8 last night in the fourth quarter. And so that, further gives me a little more confidence to know, yeah, we can turn people over even if we're in the matchup. We can turn people over and still get out in transition, which we did last night in the fourth quarter. So, hey, I'm good with it. Again, especially if it means we're going to win the game. If y'all remember the first time we beat Tennessee a few years ago here at home, we were down 12 going into the fourth quarter, and we went to the matchup, played it the entire fourth quarter, held them to 4 points, got it to overtime and won. So, sometimes it's change of pace. Sometimes it's how many people are getting ready for Mississippi State and you're going to worry about going against a 2-3 zone or a matchup. Not many. We played the 1-3-1 the other night at South Carolina. We only got beat on 1-3 that I can remember. So, it's a good change of pace, and our kids have a little, they've got some confidence in it.
Go Tyler and then Ben.
Yesterday, you guys and Ole Miss both received the news that you guys got McDonald's All-Americans, which is obviously a huge thing, something that both schools aren't really accustomed to. So kind of a two-part question. How much do you feel like the success and everything that you guys have done in winning here has kind of pushed them, Ole Miss, to kind of try to do the same types of things? And then the second part, how would you characterize the state of this rivalry going forward?
Well, certainly excited and proud of Madison, and it's a tremendous honor. And it's our second one in a row now. We had Rakia, and now her. And, of course, she won the world championships in the 3-on-3 with Rakia and 2 other teammates. So, just really excited for her, know how hard she's worked. And, it takes such an investment from so many people. If you were to know her mother and father and the investment and the sacrifice they've made for her and all their kids. I mean, you're talking about one of the all-time great family environments and atmospheres in their home and the love that they have. And it takes that kind of commitment to allow your children to be successful. And, her mom and dad make that investment in all their children. And it's just really special. I mean, it's, but that's what it takes for a kid for kids to be successful. So many people have to be, they can't do it by themselves. A kid can't do it by themselves. They have to go to so many events and work out so much and invest in people that will invest in them. And so it's really a tremendous honor, really, for everyone in my mind. And to get our second one in a row, again, I just think it points to the growth of our program. And again, I think it's certainly worthy. She certainly deserves it. And I appreciate the committee and their consideration of her. Our as far as our games with Mississippi, we've had some really good ones over the years. And, I think, for us, we've always tried to make sure that we take care of our state first in recruiting. But also we've got to make sure we recruit like we always do to a fit and make sure they can play our style and have the character and the values that we want to have here in our program. So, I know that they're working extremely hard over there, and it's not easy for anyone to take over a program in this league and try to catch up. I mean, it's hard in the SEC. I don't care what sport it is. We did it, and we did it pretty quick. And I think that's what is hard for other people to see. Well, they did it at Mississippi State. How come we can't get it, and I'm just speaking in general terms here. Mike Neighbors is doing it at Arkansas. He's in his third year now, and he's doing it. They're doing a great job, and they're top 25 team in their third year, much like we were. So, I think, again, we both universities in this great state we're trying to do a great job and represent our universities and represent this state nationally, and because we do care deeply about our universities and the state of Mississippi. I mean, this place has been so special to me and my family. And I'm talking about not just the university, but the entire state. It's just, as I've said many times, it's been the best decision I ever made, personally or professionally. And the warmth and love that's in this state by everyone. I've had compliments about my team from people in red and blue, from yellow and black, and everything in between. And I think that's what you take great pride in, is people in this state appreciating having a product and a program like ours that has been able to go out on a national scene and represent our great state. And I take great pride in that everywhere I go, and so it's something that we'll continue to try to do.
Yeah. Vic, I know it's obviously the last 2 games trailing by double digits or whatever it was. It's not the position you want to be in, but you've gotten really good production off your bench and spurts, and you've gotten some instance on offense from whether it's Aaliyah or Zaria as well, and Jemiah as well. I mean, how much confidence does that give you in your bench and the ability that your team has sort of faced some of that adversity and ability to get back into games when maybe it gets, for lack of a better term, out of hand a little bit? Sure.
Well, I'm not sure that we've had a game where it's gotten out of hand yet. We were down 14 to Stanford, and we had Andy, Zaria, Jemiah, Rakia, and I'd have to check the fifth. I'm sure it was probably Jessica, but we got down 14 of them, came back and had a chance to win. And then the other night at South Carolina, we had a good young group in there, and they all played extremely well. So it's just part of our depth. And again, it's good to have depth, but you want to have good depth. And so I think our depth continues to be developed. I think you've seen Aaliyah improve lately, and I think that's a mark of really. I think that's a mark of what we've done here at Mississippi State. We develop players. I think with Aaliyah and Elena and Dee, they've developed that kid a little bit. And again, we take, we don't apologize for being demanding. She's learning the importance of defending. Now she's trying to learn how to take care of the ball. And, she had 2 shots blocked last night that are turnovers. She's got to learn that, at this level, everybody's a little taller. And so that's just 2 decisions. If she could take them back, man, she played pretty well. I think she went 4 for 9 last night and maybe 5 out of 6 at the free throw line, something like that. But, she's coming, and that's what's exciting. And, she's hard to handle. Man, she's crafty. I think that's the best word you can use for Aaliyah is she's crafty.
Second year in a row that Coach Yo's basically had a complete roster turnover. Just what have you seen from them this year, and what are you expecting to see from them on Sunday?
Yeah, I just I know they play extremely hard, and they're doing a good job with those kids. I mean, when you take over a program, sometimes you've got to trying to instill your philosophy and how you want things to be done. It's hard sometimes. It's kind of that old saying, you just have to, you got to get kids to buy in. That's a hard thing to do sometimes, and so I have no idea, obviously, what's caused all that. I just know that when you're trying to establish a program, there's a way you want to do things, and you got to get everybody on the same end of the rope, pulling in the same direction, and sometimes that can be a challenge, and so. But I know in watching them and having to play them last year and this year, they play extremely hard and they're well coached and so we're going to have to play well on Sunday. I mean, they've had some very close ball games, and so it's in these types of games, sometimes anything can happen. And for our kids, I think Maya said it best. It's a meaningful game to a lot of people. I think for our kids, where we are with our program right now, it's a meaningful game because it's the next game for us. We need to win. We're at home. It's Sunday afternoon. We expect 10,000 in the hump, and so that in and of itself is important. We're trying to get to 6-1 in the league, and so. I think if you get tied up with anything past that, sometimes you can lose focus. So, I think that was a real mature response from Maya and probably the truth about it.